Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where, as you can see, it's a dreary old Sydney morning. It's raining, it's overcast, and it looks like it's going to be a wet old day. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the path of doing a 5am club, but under the umbrella of my Greek Orthodox Odyssey, where what I will do today is echo a message that is put out by another vlogger, a vlogger that I follow, who is named Yeron Nectarios, who's a priest, but a Yeronda, which is a person who is in charge of a monastery in Greece, who puts out vlogs on a regular basis. He's got about 700 or 800 vlogs that he's put out there into the Ethernet with spiritual messages of his Greek orthodoxy. And it's something that I want to do, and I've always wanted to do, is to take his material that he expresses so eloquently and so beautifully in the Greek language, and to not necessarily translate it word for word, but to take his message and to relay it in the English language, so that I can document it and make it available to those who are English speakers, those of us who are Greek Orthodox and are more comfortable in the English language, so that I can pass it on, of course, to my children and grandchildren and future generations. So today, the message that I'll take some time in trying to articulate as best I can is a parable, is a story that the elder presented, entitled "The Rich Man with the Four Wives." A beautiful story. So what we'll do is we'll dig into it now and step through it and see what spiritual messages it can avail us to, and also the life hacks that we can generate by having this additional knowledge, by understanding these principles a little bit better. So there was once a very wealthy king who lived in a land far away, who had 4 wives. He had 4 wives, and each of these wives had a different and a special part in his life. But out of the 4 wives that he had, there was one who was the most special to him, and that was his 4th wife, the last one that he married, who was most probably the youngest, the prettiest, and the best of all through his eyes. And the 4th wife was the one, as we said, that he loved and cherished the most. And he was completely infatuated with his 4th wife. He spent all of his time with his 4th wife, and she dominated his thoughts in every way. He would dote on her. He would caress her. He would do her hair. He would make her and do whatever he could to enshrine her beauty and for her to do and to express her beauty in every which way possible. She was, by far, as we said before, his favourite, and she was his life. And as we said, received all of his attention, so much so that he turned her into a thea, into a goddess, a princess, a queen, the most beautiful of all. But as we know, he had 4 wives, and his third wife he also loved a lot and would buy her things. There was nothing that she desired that he would not buy for her, would not make available to her. His third wife was also somebody who he deeply loved, and in order to satisfy her and to keep her happy and fulfilled, even though he didn't spend lots of time with her, he made sure that whatever she wanted, he would buy for her and would make her life as blessed as possible through all of the material things that she desired. Then we go on to his second wife, who was a good wife. He loved her, she loved him, but it was more of a typical relationship, as the Greeks would say. It was a relationship which was more of respect. They would hang out together on occasions. They would speak to each other cordially, exchange niceties, but there wasn't a deep love between each other. It was more of a respectful relationship where they acknowledged each other and lived with each other, but not deeply in love and not deeply in each other's lives. And the last wife was his first wife, the one who he first married, the one who had been with him all of the years, or most of the years. But this was a wife that he had not very much time for anymore. She was unkept. She was neglected. She was uncared for. There were a number of ways you can describe this relationship, but it wasn't a relationship anymore of love, respect, concern, caring, or any of those sort of emotions or feelings that are important when you're married to somebody and a person that you've committed to early in the piece. So as the story goes, and as all of our stories go, that sooner or later, regardless of who you are, be it a king or be it the poorest person in the kingdom, sooner or later your health is going to give way. You're going to get sick, you're going to get old, you're going to get frail, and you're going to one day die. And the king was heading in this direction, and on his deathbed, when he was at his last, he decided to summon his wives one at a time. So the first wife that he called to his bedside, of course, was his favourite. the one who he was deeply in love with. And he said to his wife, he says, I'm approaching death. We've had a great life together. I've loved you, you've loved me, and we've had a great relationship. It's been deep, it's been meaningful. And now that I'm dying, I don't want to die alone. I want to have company in my death. And I'd like to ask of you a great favour. And his fourth wife said to him, his last wife, who loved him dearly, what do you want of me? And the king says, I want you to accompany me on my final journey, on my journey to death, to be with me forever and ever, so that we can share eternity together. And his wife looked at him and said to him, no, I will not do that. I cannot do that. You will have to die alone. And I will stay here on earth, and I can't go with you. To which the king was very, very disappointed, depressed, and shattered, to be honest. So the king then said, well, so be it. He summoned his second wife, and he asked his second wife the same question. And the second wife also said to him, the answer is no. I can't join you. I won't join you. But when you die, I will happily go and marry someone else and be in someone else's arms and hands and continue to live my life for as long as I can. To which once again the king said, my God, my last wife, the one who I love the most, doesn't want to accompany me on this eternal journey. My third wife, who I also deeply love and have given everything, also doesn't want to join me on this final journey. So he went to his second wife, the second wife that he married, and he asked her to join him on his final journey. And she said, absolutely no, absolutely not. I will not join you on your eternal journey. But what I will do is, when you die, I will come to your gravesite. I will come to your funeral. I will shed a tear. And then I will go back home and live my life and think of you every now and then. And of course, you could imagine the king was distraught at hearing his fourth, third, and second wife basically telling him that he was unworthy of them joining him on their journey, on his journey. And then, out of the blue, out of the distance, he heard a voice, and that voice was the voice of his first wife, who called out to the king and said that I will accompany you on your final journey, your eternal journey. For I was the one who truly loved you. I was the one who knew you before you became a king, before you became famous, before you became popular. I knew you before you lost your hair, before you became obese, before you became mean to me, and I guess uncaring to me. And the king was amazed, saying, well, I haven't loved you, I haven't cared for you, I haven't done anything to you to deserve this. And the wife says, well, I love you, and I was always dedicated to you and always one with you. I was your first love initially, even though that love dissipated over time. So this, of course, is an allegory. It's a parable with some very, very deep, powerful meanings. And the powerful meaning to take from this for each and every one of us is that each of the wives and the king represent people in our lives. The king, of course, represents each and every one of us. We are the king who has basically everything available to us. The fourth wife is the person who represents our body, who represents our physicality, and hence where the story says that the king looked after and cherished that body, but that body couldn't go with the king on his final journey because the body was an earthly creation and had to stay here on earth and couldn't accompany him on his spiritual journey, but would one day reunite with him, but not now on his hour of need, when he would die and his body and soul would be separated. So the fourth wife represents your body, your physicality. The third wife represents and symbolizes our materiality in terms of our wealth and our possessions. And as the third wife said to the king, I can't go with you, but I will remarry and go into somebody else's arms. So just like all of our possessions, the gold, the diamond, the jewels, all of those things will end up in somebody else's hands. They'll be something that somebody else will inherit. But once again, they are things that we can't take with us. All the wealth in the world cannot provide us with something that we can take with us. The second wife, the one who said that I'll come, I'll shed a tear at your grave, but I will go back and live my life, represents our family, our friends, our community, all of those around us who love us, by all means, who love us, who cherish us, but they have their own life to live. They have their own families to care for. And as the second wife said, I will come to your grave, I'll come to your funeral, I will shed a tear, but then I will have to get on with my life and go and be with my community, my friends, my family. I'll think of you every now and then, but I can't accompany you on your journey. And the first wife, of course, represents our soul. Our soul, our closest and dearest love, and yet the love that we don't care for, the love that is unkept, the one that is put aside and forgotten and kept at a distance. And the message from this parable, from this allegory, from this metaphor, is that your soul will be the one that will most certainly accompany you for your eternal journey throughout life and through your post-physical life, or the life that you have after your death, when your body and soul are temporarily separated. So a powerful message which reminds us all that we need to spend more time loving our soul, getting to know our soul, cherishing our soul, caring for our soul, comforting our soul, because at the end of the day, our soul is the one thing that will continue with us forever and ever, up until the point of where the body and the soul reunite at some point in time into the future. So thank you once again for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we dig deep into some very, very important spiritual lessons that are made a little bit easier for us to understand and comprehend. And I thank Hieron Nectarios for sharing this important lesson with each and every one of us. And hopefully it's a lesson that we can learn something from. It's a life hack that we can use to improve our lives, to improve our relationships with those around us, and to understand that our body is important, is our temple, but it's something that is temporary, and we will be separated from it, as are our possessions, our wealth, all the things that we can touch and feel and see. All of those things will one day be something which will be less relevant. And our families who are with us for part of the journey, until we meet again, until we unite again, they will come, they may shed a tear at our funeral, they may give or perform a memorial service for us, but once again, they won't be there for the eternal journey, but hopefully we can reunite one day. But our soul will be with us forever and a day. So take care, everybody. Yasas. And I hope we can come together to go through more of these spiritual messages. And as I said, I do plan to take each and every vlog that Hieron Nectarios has published and to reissue it with in the English language as best I can, given that I'm not a priest, I'm not a person within a monastery, but it's something that I love to do, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and hopefully we can all benefit from this on our journey. Take care, enjoy the day, even though it's going to be wet. It's going to be a great day for the garden, and an opportunity to spend more time indoors and to spend more time thinking about the important things in our lives. Yasas, take care, and bye for now. Doxa tho Theou. Glory to God.